I think it's so very important to have that voice, to have the voice of the community, to have people who grew up in a community, people who are sensitive to a community, be able to tell the story of the community. African American journalists have been so very important in the city of Cleveland. Back when we had, unfortunately, we had the Huff riots, and there were people who of color who weren't working in television or newspapers at that time, and they had to go and try to find people to be able to go out into the community who weren't afraid to talk to folks because they were coming from that community. I think it's so very important that we have that voice even today in 2016 and beyond, because you need someone who understands what's going on in the community and to be able to share that story with the masses. We're vitally important. I started in television in 1980, but what wound up happening was there were people who told me that I should be on air. And the first operation to really give me that chance was WJMO Radio. WJMO at that time had a radio station, but they also had a news operation. So our news team was able to go out and get those stories that typically wouldn't hit mainstream market. And the good thing about it is once we did a couple of stories here and there, we could see that they would evolve into the Associated Press. They could also evolve into the local newspaper of that time, which was the Cleveland Plain Dealer. So, but again, we were telling the stories of people who really didn't have the voice that captured the mainstream attention. And that's what I was very, very excited about. And as I worked at WJMO for 2.5 years, I got an opportunity to move on to WUAB TV as a 10 o'clock news reporter. And again, when I would come into news meetings, I would be able to bring a voice and tell our management, to tell our producers, this is what's going on in this particular area that we really think that you should cover. And there were a lot of stories I could sit back and recount, probably hundreds of stories that I was able to do that were called enterprise, but they were basically stories that evolved from people that I knew from my community.